Welcome friends, welcome to Simzuu. In our journey of seeking knowledge, we begin again. Now friends, what has happened is, since November, we have had the implementation of the labor codes. And that is why we are going to start with the labor codes now. And as you are aware, it's talked all over, it's the talk of the town. What are the labor codes? Some people are curious, some people don't know what's going to happen, some are curious to know as to what it contains, how it affects. So is with the unions and so is with the managements. Now friends, we start this series wherein we are going to cover all the labor codes one by one, including the intricacies. The videos would be many in number, so if you keep a track of that, slowly and slowly you will become well versed in this subject. And we are going to touch upon each and everything is new. There are no rules which are drafted as yet. And as you are aware that the Honorable Central Labour Minister has already declared that the rules would be somewhere around, say, 1st of April 2026. As you understand that labor is a concurrent subject, so we are also going to have state rules. Then it could be that some laws which are state laws could be repealed, some could not be repealed. But we are today here to discuss the why of the labor codes, why this was very necessary. And as you will appreciate that since 1947, 15th of August, India became independent, we have had a series of labor legislations, Industrial Disputes Act 1947 and the Factories Act and this act and that act, and right till Bonus Act of 1965 and Contract Labor Regulation and Abolition Act 1970. You are aware of this, friends. What happened is, I again repeat, we are discussing the why of the labor codes. Why is this a necessity? Why do you want labor codes basically? And what is it going to cater, which was not present earlier, is something which we all have to understand. Now friends, what has happened is that I still remember when I was a student of law sitting in class, and then there are so many acts, industrial codes, the definition is something different. Here the employer means something different. In another act, it is still something different. Payment of wages, again it is something different. And many a times I remember having cursed the framers also, that because my object was I had to study everything. And then the study was complex and sometimes there was only a marginal difference. So for that marginal difference, but I have to go through the full act. I have to understand, then I have to understand its intricacies, then I have to understand the difference also. And so is with all of you all. Whether you are into an industry, whether you are a student of law, whether you are a judge, whether you are a lawyer, anybody, whether you are a director of a company, an employee of a company, it applies to all and sundry. So the question is, it was long in contemplation of Government of India that things have to be changed. As we all understand, Kaizen is a small improvement, and everybody in their own wisdom suggested some small improvements to this branch of law. And then collectively total labor laws itself. And all these small improvements suggested one day, and then it took some concrete shape, which we can see a reflection in the labor codes. Of course, the rules are yet to be framed. There are gray areas, people say. There are riddles into it, people say. Unions sometimes have objected. And as we proceed through the law and as we have more case laws, after it gets into motion and it has a certain sort of a momentum, we will understand it in a proper perspective, in a proper context, and including the depth of it. But the question is, as it is now implemented, I again repeat, rules are not yet on record and the rules are yet to be framed, which is going to take some 6 months of time, they say. That's okay. But we are going to start with what are the concepts. Concepts in the sense, concepts in labor law the labor code series, all labor codes, one by one into all its intricacies, which might, as I told you, it could take many videos. Now today what we are going to discuss is the why I told you. And then the second is what is the necessity of a labor code itself and what does it achieve. So as I said, the present scenario was very complex. It was, according to some, disturbing. And then people say that if we want really to be a 5 trillion and a $7 trillion economy and all those things, and if we really want to be a developed nation by 2047, things will not be possible unless we make changes at the ground level. And what are the changes at the ground level? Ground level, now you see, let's put it very simple. As a country, when we talk, we all want to be rich. There are no two opinions about it. There's no country which says that, okay, henceforth we just want to go downhill and be poor and ultimately land up below the poverty zone. No, nobody wants to do this. And you see what happens is India is facing competition because the world is now it's a global village. In India, you have American companies, you have US companies, you have say companies from Brazil and UK and Germany and this and that and almost all countries in Japan. Now those countries have their set of labor laws in their countries. To be very frank, excuse me for being a bit blunt, but those countries are not at all bothered as to what are your labor laws. After 240 days, you make people permanent or you don't make permanent. What do they lose? They are only in search of competition. Whether you appoint principal employer, whether there is a principal employer or there are how many contract labor, and then all of these laws, the other countries have got nothing to do with your laws. They are just interested in profit. And what they are eyeing on is 152 crore consumer base. See, so many Indians staying here, a vast population. Everybody requires a toothpaste, everybody requires a toothbrush, and everybody requires 2 square meals, and everybody requires food, water and shelter and clothes to wear, for which these companies come to India. And Indians themselves, what are we doing? We are having a set of labor laws wherein what we do is we pull each other's legs, is what was in contemplation. See, we stay in a democracy, and in a democracy, all perspectives are welcome. And there could be a school of thought that no, everything is wrong. We are going from bad to worse. Unions are opposing it, so on and so forth. So we will not enter into that arena. We are here to understand as to what is the law. So today is why labor codes were necessary. The situation is very complex. The sky is very murky. We don't know what's going to happen. Other foreigners are coming, competing in India. Then there is a school of thought that wealth of India is extracted and they have taken it elsewhere. Then we have had stories that Maruti Suzuki entered the Indian market once upon a time. And once upon a time, the middle class had only one car, that is Maruti Suzuki. And they paid for it. And after some years, then we had other players coming, say cars like Spark, or cars from General Motors, or cars like Santro from Hyundai. Sensing this is what has happened in the market, sensing that these cars are coming, Maruti dropped the price by 25,000 rupees immediately. Now, whose 25,000 rupees was that? It was your and my money, which we spent on a car which was sold in a way at 25,000 rupees more. Of course, it is for anybody and every company and every car to company to decide at what price he is to sell. Tomorrow they can choose to sell it at 10 crores also. So long as there are buyers, there is no, and you cannot say that why are you selling at this price? It is my car, I will sell it at this price. So they sold it. Point is not that. Point is what is the real cost in the market. And another most important point is that the other countries have become rich at the expense of India. Have you ever thought people in Dubai and people in Singapore appear to be more intelligent than us? No. In fact, we have more natural resources. We have mountains, we have the sea, we have the rivers, we have the snow, we have the desert, everything. But how come they thrive on in business and earn more money? Because they eye on the Indian population. Anyway, that's not the point of our discussion. The question is, all these things prevailed. It's a very complex sort of a thing. It's not only work, work, work. It's not only labor, labor, labor. It's not only management, management, management. It's a mix of everything. Since we have started with concepts in labor codes, now we are going to take everything. It might take more than 100 videos also. So advice to you, those who have not seen our earlier videos, do see it. Those who want to see and continue, naturally you know what is to be done for that. And it's time for me to bid a goodbye. Next time we come with something new. Yes, friends, thank you so much.